Alright, y'all, so I'm back with another Bible reading. I'm on Numbers 26, page 138 to page 139. I'm going to just read these two pages, and then I'm going to start walking around for a little bit because I only got like an hour right now, and then my sister got to go over to my aunt's house, so I'm going to try to read as much as I can real quick. Then I'm going to get in like a little walk. I don't know exactly where I'm going to walk because this path isn't as long as I thought it'd be, but, I'm going to just try to walk around and enjoy nature, enjoy what God has given us today, so I'm going to start reading right now. Oh. This book is so bright, it's low-key hurting my eyes a little bit, but it's okay. And I got my phone just sitting here, so that's not helping out, but... Okay, so for this first page... I'm going to skip this because I do not know any of these names, and I think for this second page, so... I'm going to read this little part right here at the end, and then I'm going to read these other two pages because I don't know how to read these names, so... But that's okay, maybe I'll learn, then I'll come back to this page, Let me see. So the total number of the draftable men throughout Israel was 601,730. Then the Lord told Moses to divide the land among the tribes. Moses to divide the land among the tribes in proportion to their population as indicated by the census. The large tribes to be given more land, the smaller tribes less land. Let the representatives of the large tribes have lottery during the large sections. The Lord instructed, and let the smaller tribes draw from the smaller sections. Sorry, I feel like I got bugs on me and shit. These are the clans of Levites numbered in the census. The Galatians named after their ancestor Greshon, the Kohathians named after their ancestor Kohath, and the Merarites, not too sure, named after their ancestor Merari. I don't know these names again, I'm sorry. While Levi was in Egypt, a daughter, Jehoshaphat, not too sure what that name, again, my reading sucks, so I'm really bad at reading these names, I'm sorry about that, was born to him, and she became the wife of Aaron, son of Kohath. They were the parents of Aaron, Moses, and Miriam, not too sure. To Aaron were born Nahab, Abiulah, Eleazar, Ishmael, but Nabad and Abdul died when they offered unholy fire before the Lord. The total number of Levites in the census was 23,000, counting all the males a month old and upward. But the Levites were not included in the total census figure. Of the people of Israel, for the Levites were given no land when it was divided among the tribes. So these are the census figures as prepared by Moses and Eleazar, the priest, in the plains of Moab beside the Jordan River, across from Jericho. Not the person in the entire sentence had been counted. Wait, what? Oh, not one person in this entire census had been counted. In the previous census taken in the wilderness of Sinai, for all who had been counted then had died, as the Lord had decreed when he said of them, "They shall die in the wilderness." The only exceptions were Caleb, son of, don't know that name, and Joshua, son of Nun. One day the daughters of Zelophehad came to the entrance of the tabernacle to give a petition to Moses. Eleazar the priest, the tribe leaders, and others who were there. These women were of the half-tribe of Manasseh, a son of Joseph. Their ancestor was Machir, son of Don't know that name. Goliad was their great-grandfather. His son, Hepper, was their grandfather, and his son, Zelophehad, was their father. Our father died in the wilderness, they said, and he was not one of those who had perished in Koreth, revolt against the Lord. It was a natural death, but he had no sons. Why should the name of our father disappear just because he had no son? We feel that we should be given property along with our father's brothers. So Moses brought their case before the Lord, and the Lord replied to Moses, "The daughters of Zelophehad are correct. Give them land among their uncles. Give them the property that would have been given to their father if he had lived. Moreover, this is a generational law among you, that if a man dies and has no sons, then his inheritance shall be passed on to his daughters, and if he has no daughters, it shall belong to his brothers, and if he has no brothers, then it shall belong to his uncles, but if he has no uncles, then it shall go to the nearest relative." One day the Lord said to Moses, "Go up into Mount Abraham and look across the river to the land I have given to the people of Israel. After you have seen it, you shall die as Aaron your brother did. For you rebelled against my instructions in the wilderness of Zin. When the people of Israel rebelled, you did not glorify me before them by following my instructions to order water to come out of the rock." He was referring to the incident at the waters of Meribah, place of strife, in Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin. Then Moses said to the Lord, "O Jehovah, the God of the spirits of all mankind, before I am taken away, please appoint a new leader for the people, a man who will lead them into battle and care for them, so that the people of the Lord will not be as sheep without a shepherd." The Lord replied, "Go and get Joshua, son of Nun, who has the Spirit in him, and take him to Eleazar the priest. As all the people watch, charge him with the responsibility of leading the people. Publicity, give him your authority, so that all the people of Israel will obey him. He shall be the one to consult with Eleazar the priest in order to get directions from the Lord. The Lord will speak to Eleazar through the use of the Urim, and Eleazar will pass on these instructions to Joshua and the people in this way the Lord will continue to give them guidance." So Moses did as Jehovah commanded, and took Joshua to Eleazar the priest as the people watched. Moses laid his hands upon him and dedicated him to his responsibilities as the Lord had commanded. The Lord gave Moses these instructions to give to the people of Israel these offerings. "The offerings which you burn on the altar for me are my food, and are a pleasure to me. So see to it that they are brought regularly and are offered as I have instructed you. When you make offerings by fire, you shall use yearling male lambs, each without defect. 2 of them shall be offered each day as a regular burnt offering. 1 lamb shall be sacrificed in the morning, the other in the evening. With them shall be offered a grain offering of 3 quarts of finely ground flour mixed with 3 pints of oil. This is the burnt offering ordinate at Mount Sinai, to be regularly offered." Sorry, my page flipped over. I kind of lost my page there, I'm not going to lie. "To be regularly offered as a fragrant odor, an offering made by fire to the Lord. Along with it shall be the drink offering, consuming of 3 pints of strong wine with each lamb, poured out in the holy place before the Lord. Offer the second lamb in the evening with the same grain offering and drink offering. It too is a fragrant odor to the Lord, an offering made by fire. On the Sabbath day sacrifice 2 yearling male lambs, both without defect in ordinance. In addition to the regular offering, they are to be accomplished by a grain offering." My page flipped again. Sorry about that. "Offering it too is a fragrant odor to the Lord, an offering made by fire." I just lost completely where I was. Okay. To accomplish by a grain offering of 6 quarts of fine flour mixed with oil and the usual drink offering. Also, on the first day of each month, there shall be an extra burnt offering to the Lord of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male yearling lambs, all without defect. Accompany them with 9 quarts of finely ground flour mixed with oil as a grain offering with each bull, and 6 quarts of finely grained flour mixed with oil as a grain offering for the ram, and for each lamb 3 quarts of finely ground flour mixed with oil for a grain offering. This burnt offering shall be presented by fire, and will please the Lord very much. Along with each sacrifice shall be a drink offering, 6 pints of wine, with each bull 4 pints of a ram, and 3 pints for a lamb. That was a little bit of a rhyme right there. Hold on. This then will be the burnt offering each month throughout the year. You shall offer 1 male goat for a sin offering to the Lord. This is in addition to the regular daily burnt offerings and its drink offering. On the 14th day of the first month of each year, you shall celebrate the Passover, when the death angel passed over the oldest sons of the Israelites in Egypt, leaving them unharmed. On the following day, a great joyous 7-day festival will begin. But no leavened bread shall be served. On the first day of the festival, a holy assembly of all the people shall be called, and no hard work shall be done on that day. You shall offer as burnt sacrifices to the Lord 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 yearling male lambs, all without defect. With each bull there shall be a grain offering of 9 quarts of fine flour mixed with oil. When the ram there shall be 6... Wait, what? Oh, with the ram there shall be 6 quarts, and with each of the 7 lambs 6 quarts... there shall be 3 quarts of fine flour. You must also offer a male goat as a sin offering to make atonement for yourselves. These offerings shall be in addition to the usual daily sacrifice. This same sacrifice shall be offered on each of the 7 days of the feast. They will be very pleasant to the Lord. On the 7th day there shall be again a holy and solemn assembly of all the people, and during that day you may do no hard work. On the day of the first fruits, also called the Festival of Weeks, or Pentecost, there must be a special solemn assembly of all the people to celebrate the new harvest. On that day you are to present the first of the new day. Wait, what? You are to present the first of the new crop of grain as a grain offering to the Lord. There is to be no hard work by anyone on that day. A special burnt offering, very pleasant to the Lord, shall be offered that day. It shall consist of 2 young bulls and a ram, and 7 yearling male lambs. These shall be accompanied by your grain offering of 9 quarts of fine flour mixed with oil, with each bull 6 quarts mixed with oil. With each bull, I read that again. With the ram and 3 quarts of each. The ram 3 quarts, with each of the 7 lambs. Also offer 1 male goat to make atonement for yourselves. These special offerings are in addition to the regular daily burnt offerings and grain offerings and drink offerings. Make sure that the animals you sacrifice are without defect. The Festival of Trumpets shall be celebrated on the 15th day of September. Each year there shall be a solemn assembly of all the people on that day, and no hard work may be done. On that day you shall offer a burnt sacrifice consisting of 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 yearling male lambs, all without defect. These are sacrifices which the Lord will These are sacrifices which the Lord will appreciate and enjoy. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to leave it off. I'm at Numbers 29 to 31, page 142 to page 143. I think I'm going to just leave it off right there because it is very hot out here, but I wanted to say some other stuff, so let me real quick. Let me put my little page marker in here so I can throw in my Bible. This is my page. And I mean, I just wanted to be honest with y'all real quick because I don't want y'all to think that I'm just like... Well, I know I've been honest in a lot of my videos as well, telling y'all about the things that I struggle with and about the problems that I go through and about the things that I've been thinking lately. But I just want to let you guys know, if anyone is struggling with their faith, if you feel like God isn't reaching out to you, or you feel like God isn't even there for you, or, you know, you feel like nobody else is there for you, then, you know, again, if you think you need therapy, go get therapy. Don't isolate yourself in your room. Don't spend all the time in your house. You know, you should feel like you can go outside and be around other people. And if you really need to, you know, surround yourself with friends. Don't surround yourself with people that are going to, you know, not force you into sin, but that'll drag you into a place of sin. Don't do that. And if you have really good friends, they're not going to force you to do anything. If they go drinking or if they go smoking, they're not going to force you to do anything, you know? So don't surround yourself with friends that are going to peer pressure you into doing anything, because that's just not right, and they really don't care for you. You know, for example, with me and my friends, I'm not going to... When I was younger, I definitely did, like me and all my friends, we were definitely peer pressuring each other into doing a lot of stuff. But luckily, a lot of us are still friends, and we don't do that anymore. A lot of us are really kind of, you know, waking up a little bit. We're all getting older. We're all realizing that doing all these drugs and, you know, doing all this dumb stuff really doesn't help us out at all. And I mean, I know I just moved away, unfortunately, so I can't really spend time with my friends, but I still talk to all of them, and I'm glad that God gave me all the people that I have in my life. I'm glad that God gave me all these lessons. But, you know, and I would say sometimes in life you kind of got to look out for lessons. Like, you know, if you see somebody doing something bad and you clock that in your memory, like, oh, that's, you know, maybe I shouldn't do that, or maybe I shouldn't go that route, then you should definitely keep that as like a lesson, or, you know, that could be God trying to show you something, or maybe show you like what you shouldn't be doing. Just take everything as a lesson, you know, take everything as like a learning opportunity. Even mistakes that you make, take it as like a, you know, okay, well, I did something bad, so maybe I can do better next time if I get put in that situation. But again, I'd just say, if you are feeling lonely, if you feel like you have nobody in this life, I promise you God is always there, even when it feels like maybe God isn't there. Because I know for me, I've learned from a couple of different videos and from my own experiences that it feels like God is more like a teacher, like the same way. And I've said this a couple times in my videos, but it's more like, you know how when you're doing a test and your teacher kind of, you know, they step away a little bit because they don't want to, you know, they're not going to help you through the test, because then you're not going to learn anything. I feel like it's the same way with God. That's why we have teachers. That's why we have therapists. That's why we have doctors and all that, to teach us these lessons that we wouldn't know otherwise. And I saw this in a movie once, and it really was a good message, honestly. But if you are going through something and you, like, you know, you feel like somebody's really trying to help you, but you're sitting there like, oh no, I need God's help, you know, you can't help me. That could be God trying to send you a message. Like, maybe that person was sent there to help you out. Maybe somebody's trying to talk to you because, you know, maybe God's trying to give you a chance. So just take everything as a lesson. Take everything as all the good stuff that happens in this life. Take that as God doing it for you. And all the bad things, take that as a lesson, or take that as anything you can get. If something bad happens to you, try your hardest to make something good out of it. Because I know for me, I've done a lot of bad things, and I've had a lot of bad things happen to me. And hating people for a long time really doesn't do anything but make your life so much worse, because you spend so much time hating on somebody. And then when you look back, you really realize, like, dang, I just wasted like 4 or 5 years hating somebody and thinking about them every day and hating them and wanting to do bad to them and all. And that doesn't help you out at all. It makes you feel a lot worse. So just, again, try to take everything as a lesson. You know, try to, even if it's something you did, if it's something really bad, try to take that as a lesson on why you shouldn't do that. And try to help people, you know, as much as you can. You know, if you don't have the money to help somebody out in that way, maybe help them move something, help them clean up their house, do anything you can to help somebody out. And I know it's hard, especially for someone like me, because I struggle with a lot of stuff. I struggle with mainly depression, anxiety. I struggle with a lot of, what is it called? I can't remember what it's called now, but basically it's like if I have one bad thing happen in the morning, or if I hear something bad, that'll legit set me off for like the whole day, and I'll be in a bad mood for a long time. And it is very hard to get out of that, but it's possible. I know for me, whenever I pray, it really does do something, because I got to get deep into prayer, but I'll pray once and then I'll immediately just go right back to doing something sinful. Like if I'm having lustful thoughts or anything like that, I will pray once and then they'll go away for a minute, and then I'll let myself slip back into it, and then I'll say, oh, well, maybe I'll just start making excuses. You can't do that, because God gives us prayer for a reason, and it really does help. You got to put yourself in a state of always praying, even if it's just in your head. If you're on a walk, for me, I'll usually just say, Lord Jesus Christ, or our Heavenly Father God, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for these trees. Thank you that my legs work. Thank you that my feet work, that my hands work, that my eyes work, that my brain is working. Thank you for my mouth. Thank you for my lungs working. Try to think of everything you can be thankful for. And even if you're not religious, if you see this and you don't believe in God, do that anyways. Try to just whatever you need to think, or whatever you need to think of to make yourself feel a little bit better. Obviously, if you've done something wrong, you shouldn't do that. You should realize that it's wrong. But if you're down and you feel like, you're all sad and you can't do anything, just think of all the things that you have, because there's a lot of people in different countries that don't know of God, and they don't even have anything. They don't have food. They don't have water. They don't have clothes, houses. They're in war. I mean, there's a lot, especially us in America. And in a lot of countries, not just America, a lot of countries have a lot of things that some other countries don't have. And even in those countries, there's towns and places where people don't have the bare necessities that other people should have. So, that's just kind of how it is, And in this life, it's very hard. But I know for a fact you can't keep blaming God for everything, because it's not his fault. The way that humans, occupy this world, the way that we're given free will and the things that we do with our free will, it's bad a lot of the times. But you can always make a good situation out of a bad one. It doesn't matter what you're going through. You can always find some way to laugh or be happy, or, whatever. And people might call you out on that. People might say, well, you shouldn't be happy right now, or you shouldn't be this, that, and the third. You will waste your entire life being upset and depressed. And I promise you that, because I've wasted a lot of time being upset and mad at people. For example, with my dad, I wasted a long time just hating him and thinking that everything was his fault, because I was sitting there like, well, maybe if you were here for me, this wouldn't have happened, or this wouldn't have happened, or that may have not gone that way, or maybe this, maybe I wouldn't be the way that I am. But the problem is, people make choices in this life, and honestly, I know from my parents, they definitely weren't ready for me at all. And that's just how it is, Sometimes you make mistakes in this life that you can't reverse. And that's something as well. If you are in a situation where you're doing a bunch of lustful stuff with a girl, just remember, if you do have a kid and you're not ready, think of how, especially if you were put in that same situation where your parents weren't there for you, think of how badly that could go for your kid. So just, try to keep that in mind. That's why for me, I don't want to have kids, because I don't know how to deal with them. I don't know how I'd deal with a kid, especially if my kid was anything like me growing up. I don't know how I would deal with that, because I got a lot of problems. I got a lot of issues, and I wouldn't really know how to talk to my kid. But I still kind of, it's not that I don't want to be a dad or anything like that. I do. I really do, honestly. I want to be a parent, I want to be there for somebody, but I don't trust myself to be able to be there. I'm not afraid that I'm just gonna, well, honestly, I'm gonna be honest, yeah, I am afraid. I'm afraid that I'd run away, I'm afraid that I'd be like, oh, I can't take care of this kid, I can't, I'm not a good dad, that's why right now I'm not ready, I don't think anybody's ever truly ready to have a kid, but some people are more experienced than others. And if you are thinking about having a kid with whoever it is, bro, you need to make sure that you have the money for that. Make sure you have the house for that. Make sure your neighborhood is good. Because it doesn't matter what you do as a parent. The stuff that your kid can see can really mess them up. It could just be one bad day, and that can immediately change their whole life, So, and you don't have to think that you have to be perfect, because nobody's ever going to be perfect. My parents aren't perfect. Nobody's parents are. But you got to at least make sure that you're ready to have a kid, or that you're somewhat ready, that you think... Basically, if you think you're ready to have a kid, go for it, but you're still not going to be perfect, so don't expect that. Be honest with your kids and tell them that you're not perfect and that you have issues and that you struggle, so that maybe they won't feel like, oh, well, I'm the only one going through this. Just try to get help. If you're parenting, try to get some help. You shouldn't have to feel like you're doing it all alone, especially if you are a single parent. Try to get some help with that. Because I know for a fact my mom tried to single parent me and my sister, and it didn't go well at all. But that's not her fault. That's just how it is. And I'm not going to blame her for stuff that happened to me when I was a kid, because I just don't really care. It's not really, sometimes it'll be in my mind and I'll be sitting there like, oh God, why did you let this happen? And why'd you do this? And why'd you do that? But it's not, It's really nobody's fault. That's just how we are. We're humans. We're not going to ever be perfect, so don't expect that. But again, sorry, I kind of got off topic. But if you take anything away from these videos, you have to know that nobody's going to be perfect. Nobody is perfect. The only man that was perfect was, at least in my belief, was Jesus Christ. And look what they did to him. They crucified him. They tortured him. They spit on him. They called him names. So don't expect anything different, You shouldn't expect people to hate you in this life at all, but expect people to not agree with everything you say. Don't live your life expecting people to agree with you and to always be on your side. But also that could be bad too. It's like a double-edged sword. Don't trust people, but also have enough trust to live your life and to be able to talk to people, And honestly, don't care. Why would you, don't even care what people think, bro. Who cares? Because everybody's going to judge you for one reason or another, especially in our generation. You can get judged for anything. Look at all the people that are getting canceled for literally doing nothing wrong. I mean, that's how it is, And for people that do something wrong, in my opinion at least, because I've done a lot wrong in my life, I can tell you that by shutting these people out and by saying, oh, they deserve to be in jail and depending on what you do, then yeah, I think some people, for a lot of the shit I've done, I definitely deserve to be in jail. I've stolen a lot. I've hurt a lot of people. But I'm getting better at it. And, I'm glad that God gave me a family that didn't turn me away, that didn't hate me, that gave me a chance to really be better, because I do want to be better. I want to be a better person. I want to grow up to know that I tried, Even if I was to die early, I want to die knowing that I at least tried to be a good person. And that's really all that matters to me. So just if your friend's doing something stupid, if your friend messes up in some way, don't shut him out. Don't turn him away. I know there's certain lines in the Bible that say if someone's doing something sinful, you should, stray away from them. And that's, depending on what it is, if they're forcing you to sin, then yeah, you should. But if they're not, and they're just doing something bad to mess up their own life, be there for them, Let them know that what they're doing is wrong. And if they don't want to hear it, they don't want to hear it. You can't force somebody to understand, They'll take whatever they can get in their own way. Whatever you say, they'll take it in their own way. So it is what it is. But try. Don't just give up on somebody and say, oh, you're a lost cause, because that's not going to help anybody. And again, I ramble a lot, but I just have a lot of thoughts in my mind, so I'm sorry about that. But again, if this, ramble kind of helped anybody out, I'm happy, because I know I want to help people that are like me, that feel like they don't have a place in this world, or they feel like maybe even God can't accept them. And the problem is, if that was true, especially in my belief, which from all the research I've done and the proof that I've seen, there has to be a God. And sure, maybe I'm not 100% sure if it is the Christian God, but I'm assuming it is. Every other religion, who else has came back from the dead? Who else's tomb was empty? That's pretty sick in my opinion. But I just think that in my own personal experience and in my opinion, if you didn't have a use in this world, you would not wake up today. You would not be alive today to help somebody out or to change your life or to go outside and experience something, Even if your life sucks, even if your life, you feel like, you're just, my life is so horrible, whatever you're going through, you can make a good situation out of it, even when it feels like you can't. And sometimes you need God for that. You need to pray sometimes. You really need to let go of some stuff. You need to be honest with God. Don't say prayers that sound good. Be honest. You don't need to say a prayer in some certain way. You don't need to do that. Just pray to God. Say whatever you need to say, get it out of your chest, get it off your chest. Say whatever you think will help out. And just be honest. Obviously, God knows exactly what we're thinking. He knows what we're going to do no matter what. But I feel like it'd make God feel a lot better if you were just honest with him and told him, hey, Lord Jesus or Heavenly Father, I'm going through this and I don't know what to do. Just be honest, and be honest to other people. Don't hide in a bunch of secrets. Even if you think they'll turn you away, sometimes they won't. Sometimes they'll embrace you and they'll say, oh, it's okay, I'm here for you. And that's what a good friend or a good parent should do, no matter what it is. Because if you are calling out for help, that's all you can do. No matter what, if you're asking for help and you really do want to be a better person, just realize that is all you can do. You can't just magically change. You need help with that. A lot of us need help. And a lot of us don't ask for it. So and it's sad because a lot of people end up dying like that, honestly. A lot of people their problems end up getting worse because of that, because they don't want to ask somebody because they're so afraid of getting judged. And I can definitely understand that. I'm afraid of getting judged a lot, but since I've been praying a lot more and being honest with God and asking him to change me, it's been a lot easier to come out to my family and tell them a lot of things that I kept secret for a long time. And it took a lot of mistakes. It took a lot of wrongdoings for me to realize that. But I need God. I need other people. I need God. I can't do it by myself. There's a lot of things I can't do. And that's a lot of us. And I do 100% believe that a lot of us have this gaping hole inside of us that can only be filled with God's Spirit. Because so many of us, even the people that get rich, that have everything they want, they will still admit to you fully that they have something inside that's missing. So, take that and, run with it, whatever. But I do think a lot of us need God, even if you're not Christian or even if you're not religious. I'd say try it out. You got nothing to lose. What do you got to lose? Partying, doing a bunch of drugs, making love with a bunch of women that don't care about you, that you don't care about. You're hurting them, they're hurting you. What do you really have to lose? All you have to lose is stuff that's going to make you lose your life, or that's going to make your life even worse anyways. So that's why I don't agree with a lot of people when they say that the Christian way of living is, BS, or the, religion is BS. It's not. And a lot of y'all, to be honest with y'all, a lot of y'all see a lot of proof and y'all don't want to believe it because you don't want to believe. Because either somebody's done something bad to you or you've done something bad that you don't want to own up to. And it's okay. We're all human. It's not... I don't know where people got this fake religion to where, oh, well, God hates you. And, if you... I don't know. So many people think that you can't ask for help just because you're religious. And that's BS. You can ask for help whenever you want. Even if... It doesn't matter what you are. If you need help, you should ask for it always. There's no way you should think that you don't deserve help or that you don't deserve to ask for help. You should always ask for help no matter who it is. Or no matter who you are or what you've done, you should ask for help. So just, if you feel like you need God or you feel like you need to believe in something, I'd say try it out. Because there's nothing you're going to lose. You literally cannot lose anything. The only thing you're going to lose are stuff that are going to make your life worse or make it harder for you to live your life. So, and obviously I'm kind of speaking from a hypocritical point because I still smoke weed. I still think about drinking all the time, but I don't. I try my hardest to stay away from a lot of that shit, but it's hard. And excuse my language, but I just want to be real with y'all. Because it's very hard to not turn back to a lot of drugs that I was doing because I felt okay. I felt like I was free. I felt like I could do whatever I want and I didn't have to care. I felt like there was no condemnation. But that's not how life should be. You should realize that you're doing something wrong. Especially when you do something wrong, you should know that it's wrong. And I'll tell you this, for weed especially, weed kind of does make you feel okay when you shouldn't be. Like when you do something dumb and you smoke a little bit and you feel fine, that's not how it should be. But again, we're all struggling with something. I'm trying to get off weed a little bit. I'm trying to I'm trying to put it to the side. I don't want to smoke forever. I don't want to be smoking weed forever because I know my lungs definitely aren't going to like that because that's going to take a toll when you get older. But just if you are on something, just try to get off of it. You're obviously never going to be perfect, but you can still try to get off of whatever you're on. And I'm sorry for going on a random tangent. I got all these thoughts in my head right now, but what I'm trying to say is just try to be better. If you feel like you need to be better, just try. There's nothing bad can happen from you trying, because at least you want to try. Some people in this world, they'll do something wrong and they don't even care. They don't want to make it right. They don't want to do anything right because they're just stuck in that way. And I believe that I believe that maybe when they were younger, they had some really bad things happen to them, and maybe that's what turned them into that. And I don't blame them either, because when you're, certain things happen. And I'm gonna stop going on a tangent because I'm talking a little bit too much. So, but again, just God bless you guys. I hope you all have an amazing day. And if this did help you out at all, I'm happy. I want this to help people. I want to help people out the same way that I was helped as a kid. Because I still need help and I still need to talk to people about my feelings, and I'm glad that I feel like I can do that, I'm glad that I feel okay with talking about my feelings. So just, again, if you need help, ask for it. Don't keep that shit all to yourself. Don't sit in your room all day and, cry about it and whatever. If you need to cry, you should cry, but don't sit in your room all day. If you need to cry to somebody else, you should feel like you can. Because I'm going to be honest, crying with somebody else really does, and I'm saying this as a man who didn't really grow up in that way, and I grew up in the same way of oh, well, if you need to cry, go do that, go do that shit in your room and close your door and don't let anybody know. But no, you should be able to cry to God, and you should be able to cry to other people and talk to them about your issues, because that'll help you out a lot. It'll feel like a weight's being lifted off you, and that can really help you make improvements. So just keep that in mind, all right? God bless you guys. I love you so much. I'm sorry for going on such a big tangent, but I just needed to talk about this. I know a lot of that didn't make sense, but I'm going to keep doing it. Hopefully if y'all can pick out whatever I said that does make sense and use that in your own life, good, you know. But thank you guys so much for watching, and God bless you, and I love you all, and I pray you all have an amazing day. If you haven't gone outside yet, you should go outside and experience everything that God has given us, because this is all beautiful. So thank you all for watching, and peace out.